Magandang araw po, ako po si Rosan de la Cruz at ito ang Reforma. Dito sa ating programa tututukan natin ng mga institusyon at ahensya sa tatlong sangay ng gobyerno. Maayos ba ang pagpapatakbo ng mga ito o kailangan bang baguhin para mapaganda ang kanilang serbisyo sa mga Pilipino? Sa aming episode ngayong linggo, tatalakayin natin ang kalagayan ng ating industriyang pelikula. Matapos ang pandemya na naging pinakamalaking dagok sa industriya, ngayon pa lang ito bumabawi. Pero sinasabing nasa third golden age of Philippine cinema na tayo. Totoo ba ito? Kaya na ba nating makipagkompetensya sa mga foreign productions? Pag-uusapan natin yan kasama ang ating guest, isang kapitapitagang film writer, director at professor, kasalukuyang technical consultant at tagapagsalita ng Film Development Council of the Philippines, Ginoong Jose Javier Reyes. Direk, unang-una po, sa scale ng 1 to 10, paano mo mailalarawan ang kalagayan or state ng Philippine cinema today?
Okay, I will start with the first one, the state of cinema right now. In a scale of 1 to 10, it's 1. Okay? Bakit 1? Dahil wala, as of now, September, okay, we're coming into the month of September. Sa ngayon, wala pa tayong Filipino blockbuster. Okay? Karamihan ng mga pelikula na ginawa ay nalugi. Alright? Siguro ang nakapuno lamang ng mga sinihan was last MMFF through the movie Deleter, okay, at saka yung movie ni Vice Ganda, but that was last December. As of now, the most successful Filipino film na nakapuno ng movie house as we speak are the Cinemalaya entries, okay, but they are not major blockbusters. Okay, because ang Cinemalaya, niche crowd yan. Ano ibig sabihin ng niche crowd? May specific audience lamang na nanonood ng Cinemalaya. Ang top grosser ng Cinemalaya ay yung animated film na Iti Mapupukaw at saka yung film na ginawa ni Samantha Lee, which is an LGBTQ romance called The Rookie. Okay, yun ang dalawang pinaka-successful. Okay, but they are not blockbusters in the language of Barbie or Oppenheimer or the others. Okay? So, talagang pale by comparison. Itong nakaraang Metro Manila Film Fest, yung Summer Metro Manila Film Fest, kahit yung top grosser, lugi. Okay? Kahit yung top grosser niya, lugi. If not lugi, break even. And this is the movie Here Comes the Groom. Okay? Yun na ang pinaka-successful. Okay? And it's still lugi. Alright? So in a scale of 1 to 10, maybe it's 0.5. Okay? If we can be very brutal. Okay? Production-wise, we have the same problem. Okay? Why is production-wise the problem? Number one, ang mga studio ngayon, hindi na gumagawa para sa sinihan. Gumagawa na to service streamers. Okay? In other words, yung mga local production, magpalabas ka sa sinihan, magpakamatay ka o sunugin mo na lang yung pera mo. Dahil walang nanonood ng Filipino movies. Okay, yung mga nagpo-produce ngayon, they service Netflix, Amazon, and the likes. Okay? I will be honest, yung production house ko, okay, ang siniservice namin, Viva Max. Right? Because that is where the work is. Now, yung sa Viva Max, umaabot ba yan sa sinihan? Yung ibang palabas ng Viva, pinapalabas nila sa sinihan. Pero sa pagkakaalam ko, medyo wala pa rin kumita. Okay, and if I should be brutally honest again, as we speak right now, yung latest release ng Black Sheep, yung Third World Romance, magandang pelikula, matino ang pagkagawa, walang nanood. Okay? So that gives you a profile of Philippine movies right now.
Pero ano po ba yung problema? Bakit walang Filipino na nanonood ng Filipino films? Distribution ba ito o lack of promotion?
Tatlong dahilan. Unang-una, nagkaroon ng pandemya. Nung nagkaroon ng pandemya, nag-iba ang ating concept of entertainment. Nung nakulong tayo sa bahay and it was unsafe to go out and unsafe to go to an enclosed place with so many people, nasanay tayo sa streaming. Okay? Nasanay tayong manood sa streaming. Kung hindi na tayo nanonood ng streaming, tayo ay nanonood sa internet. Okay? Hindi lamang naman pelikula apektado, pati ang commercial TV. Magtanong ka ng tao kung ilan pa ang nanonood ng commercial TV, lalo na sa kamay nila, ang isasagot sa iyo, bihira na lamang. Lahat sila nanonood ng streaming, nanonood ng YouTube. Okay? O kaya nagti-TikTok sila, o kaya nagfe-Facebook, hindi ba? Wala nang nanonood ng iba. Kasi nga nakulong tayo ng 3 taon at nakabihas na natin yon. Okay, may bifurcation din yon, may resulta din yon. Dahil tayo nasanay doon, na-realize natin na hindi natin kailangan lumabas para gumasta. Okay? Okay, bahagi na rin doon yung halaga ng mga movie ticket. At naiintindihan ko kung bakit ganoon ang halaga ng movie ticket. Magkano ang movie ticket ngayon? 400 pesos. Di ba? Para sa isang tao. Okay? Mabuti kung 400 pesos lang ang gagastahin mo. Kunyari gusto mong manood ng IMAX, Diyos ko Lord, 900 to 1,000. Okay? Ang halaga ng isang ticket. Okay? May buti kung manonood ka ng sine kung ticket lang ang gagastahan mo. Nandiyan yung transportation mo, nandoon yung pangkain mo, nandoon magbibihis ka. Hindi ba? Mag-subscribe ka sa View. Mag-subscribe ka sa View, mag-subscribe ka sa Viva Max, mag-subscribe sa Viva Max, 150 a month. Pwede ka manood hanggang magkano ang sa magkano Netflix? 550. Di ba? Magkano ang Disney Plus? Magkano ang Amazon Prime? Di ba? Magkano gagastahin mo? Gumasa ka ng pinaka-maano na dyan Netflix. Gumasa ka ng 550, manood ka hanggang may katarata ka. Di ba? Pwede ka manood. At saka hindi lang isang tao, buong pamilya pwedeng manood. Ba't ka magagasta na sa sinihan, di ba? No, iba pa rin yung karanasan sa sinihan. Iba pa rin yung movie experience. But that has already taken a secondary role. Hindi na yon ang mahalaga. Ikatlo, ano laban natin sa production ng ibang bansa? Ano laban natin? Korea na lamang eh. Di ba? Ano laban natin sa production value? Dito sa Pilipinas, magkano ang standard budget ng production ngayon? Between 6 million to 8 million. Pang catering lang yun ng Hollywood production, hindi ba? Tignan mo ang productions ng Korea. Mapapantay ko ba yun? Unless talagang magwaldas ka ng million, hundreds of millions to match that. O gumasta ka ng hundreds of millions, sino manonood? Sigurado ka ba na kung gumasta ka ng ganung kalaki, panonoorin ka? Di ba? So now everybody is playing safe, so everybody is catering to the platforms. Kasi oras sa platform, kaya, I'll give an example, yun sa Cinemalaya. Okay? Yung pinakamaganda, right after Cinemalaya, binili ng platform, hindi na ipalabas sa sine. Okay? Binili ng isang platform, hindi na pwedeng ipalabas sa sine. So nangangahulugan, diretso na doon kasi pag-aari na yun ng platform. At least for so many years. So, nag-iba na talaga ang landscape of entertainment. Now, ano ang dahilan kung bakit? Well, kasalanan natin at then hindi natin kasalanan lamang dahil ito ay problema ng buong mundo. Okay? Ano yung kasalanan natin? Kasalanan natin is we have not kept up to par with the quality of filmmaking in other nations. Bakit hindi natin kasalanan? Because what is happening also about the death of cinema or the dying patronage of cinema is a worldwide phenomenon. Would you believe isang bayan lang sa mundo ngayon ang nagbo-boom ang cinema? And that's Indonesia. Okay? Indonesia lang ang bumabongga. Okay? Bakit nagbo-boom? Okay? Kasi nung nalaman ko rin, Korea din pala hindi nagbo-boom ang cinema. Alam mo bakit? Ang Indonesia, mahal ang Indonesia. Yun ang dahilan. Indonesians love being Indonesians. Sa Korea, they have more than 100 films na unreleased. Okay? And yet, Koreans love Korea. No? Pero pagdating naman sa K-drama, sa pop music, hindi ba? Bongga na ang Korea. Okay? Nag-e-export na sila worldwide. Kaya lang more hardly hit tayo and I think if there is anybody to blame tayo, we are the ones to blame. It's our culture which is to blame. Do Filipinos love being Filipinos? Dahil nga sa budgetary constraint, hindi natin kayang gawin yung production value na ginagawa ng ibang bansa. Maski na nga we can't even compare ourselves to Korea or even, are you ready for this, Vietnam. Okay? We can't even compare with that kasi nagtitipid ang ating mga producer to lower the risk of losing money. Okay? Pero in terms of content and quality, magaganda. Pag napanood ninyo ang Third World Romance, maganda siya. Kung napanood ninyo ang Iti Mapupukaw o ang Gitling ng Sinimalaya, or even napanood niyo yung quality ng pakagawa ni Samantha Lee ng Rookie, okay, magaganda sila. Magaganda. Ang problema lang, hindi natin pinapanood. Is it a question of marketing? I think no, it's a question of the fact that, ang sabi ng Pilipino, bakit ako manonood sa sine? Iintayin ko na lang mag-Netflix o kaya o mag-streaming yan. Hindi ba? Hindi ba sinasabi nila, saka isa pa to, maitanong ko sa inyo, ang minimum wage natin is 570 pesos a day, hindi ba? Kung 400 pesos a ticket, manonood ka ba ng sine? Gagastahin mo ba ang almost 80% of or 70% of what you earn to watch a movie? No, you will not. Ito ba masaklap? Yung mga dating nanonood ng pelikulang Pilipino can no longer afford to watch movies. Sino ang mga nanonood ng movies? The middle class, upper middle class, and the upper class, because they can afford to watch movies. Unfortunately, they would rather watch Barbie, Mission Impossible, and Oppenheimer rather than to watch a Filipino movie. If it is about kung ang pag-uusapan natin yung kalidad ng mga filmmakers natin at saka sa uri ng pelikula ginagawa nila para sila ma-recognize all over the world, there is Love Diaz and there is Brillante Mendoza. And lately, there is June Lana and there is Eric Mati. Now, meron na magagaling gumawa ng pelikula. Ang problema lang ngayon, nasaan ang mga producers na magbibigay sa kanila ng pagkakataon na magawa nila ang mga pelikulang gusto nilang gawin. Hindi ba? Ito pa isang masaklap, okay? Ito pa isang masaklap. Mas maraming nakakapanood ng mga pelikula ni Love Diaz at ni Brillante Mendoza at ni Eric Mati na banyaga kaysa kapwa Pilipino. Meron bang third wave? I don't know if you can call this a third wave, but I can assure you, lalo na nagtatrabaho ako sa FDCP ngayon, na ang daming magagaling na gumagawa ng pelikula. An example, si June Lana is showing his brilliance at his best right now. In the summer MMFF, he came up with what I think is his best movie, which is About Us But Not About Us. Hindi ba? I mean, that's brilliant filmmaking. Okay? Now he is the only one after so many years na babalik sa Toronto International Film Fest. May halos isang dekada na walang pelikulang nakabalik sa Toronto Film Fest. Pero ngayon pupunta siya roon para ipalabas yung Anak ng Ina Mo. Okay? So nangangahulugan na merong mga magagaling at ang dami pa niya mga batang filmmakers na ang gagaling. Ngayon, na-discover ng Sinimalaya si Joey Arnaldo, na-discover si Kevin Mayuga, okay, tapos nandiyan dyan si Joy Aquino, nandiyan dyan si Joel Ferrer, okay? Pero kung ginagawa nila, gumagawa sila ng mga series for platforms. Kasi hindi nila magawa yung mga pelikulang gusto nila dahil wala na producer who will take the risk. And if ever there is a producer who will do so, sila ulo nun.
Is there a way na we can exploit itong digital platforms para makagawa ang mga filmmakers natin na gusto nila?
Nako, malabo yan. Yan nga ang pinaglalaban namin eh. Lately, nagkaroon ng isang, when I joined FDCP, when we went to, a year ago sa Busan, nagkaroon ng plano na magkaroon ng alliance ang mga Asian film councils. Okay, tapos that was formulated better in Berlin and then finally it was launched in Cannes last May. Ang pinoprotektahan natin ay na lahat ng mga filmmakers dinidiktahan na ng mga platform. Kasi pag gumawa ka ng pelikula na ibebenta mo sa platform, yung platform magsasabi sa iyo, ito ang gusto namin. Okay? Nangangahulugan, ito ang mga kwentong gusto namin, ito ang mga kwentong bibili namin, ito ang mga kwentong tatangkilikin namin. Oras na ginawa mo yon, sila nagdidikta ng kung ano ang estetika na gagamitin mo bilang batayan ng pelikulang yon. Hindi ba? Hindi nangangahulugan na bukal sa kalooban ng filmmaker ang gagawin niya. Okay? Katulad, okay, I'll give an example. I'll use myself an example. Sabi nila, ba't ka gumagawa ng Viva Max? There's nothing wrong with Viva Max. What is wrong is you do a bad Viva Max movie. Okay? Which is wrong in any language and in any platform. Kahit adult content yun, you can make it good and say something. Pero alam mo na kapag gumawa ka sa Viva Max, it has to be of adult content. Hindi ka naman pwedeng gumawa ng Sound of Music sa Viva Max, hindi ba? Meron ng expectation sa audience mo. Ganyan din ang mga platform. Ang hinihingi namin at ang sana maganda is, since nakikinabang ang mga platform na ito na kinukuha ang mga obra, okay, ng mga filmmakers, sana may ibigay din sila in return. Okay? Sana may ibigay din sila, magbigay din sila ng pera or whatever impetus para hindi mamatay ang mga national cinema. Kasi at the rate it's going, the national cinemas will die if they only comply with the requirements given by the platforms. Ayoko lang to give into the nitty-gritty, pero si Chairman Tirso Cruz III, may plano siya na to ask sa mga legislators to give a certain amount, to give seed money to producers. Na bigyan ng seed money ang producers para gumawa uli ng mga pelikula na hindi yung, for the sake of, serving the platforms. He'll be going around, hopefully to raise enough money to give to deserving producers who can provide good films, okay? And these are non-recuperable. Bibigayan talaga, okay, gumawa ka ng magandang pelikula, ito ang seed money, dagdagan mo ito, i-match mo ito. Kunyari, ang budget mo is 12 million, o ito 6 million, tapatan mo ng 6 million, you have your 12 million. That way, yung risk ng producer is nangangalahati lang dahil tumulong ang gobyerno. Ikalawa, gusto namin bawasan din yung tax. Ito, malaking uphill climb ito. We are the most heavily taxed movie industry in the world. In the world, okay? Now, since namamatay ang pelikula, pwede ba? Alisin muna natin yung tax na yan. Okay? Hayaan muna natin mabuhay. Total, bakit may tax na ganyan? Wala naman kayo nakapapala sa tax na yan, walang nanonood. Hindi ba? So, alisin na muna yung tax na yan para mas makahinga at bumaba ang production cost. Okay? Para maibaba natin ng kaunti ang tax and cost. Kasi tignan mo, movie producer ka, nagbabayad ka ng VAT, nagbabayad ka ng withholding tax, nagbabayad ka pa ng income tax. Hindi ba? I guess, hindi nyo alam yung formula. No? Sa bawat 100 pesos na binabayad mo sa sinihan, only 30 pesos goes to the movie producer. Okay? The others go to the cinema owner and the other goes to the government. Okay? So, ang laking tulong kung babawasan natin yung tax. Okay? Ang laking tulong yon para sa yan ang nilalabi ngayon ng FDCP. Over and above the fact na ang pinaglalaban namin edukasyon. Kasi alam mo, ang may problema naman hindi lamang yung filmmaker, may problema rin yung audience eh. 'Di ba? Okay, I hate to say this, but we have fed them with mediocrity all through these years. And by feeding them with mediocrity, their mind has established standards of mediocrity, of goodness. Bigyan mo sila ng medyo kailangan sila mag-isip, natataranta sila. It's about time that we make our audiences think and be very determined, discreet, okay, in their choices. Hindi ba? Nilamog natin ang utak ng ating mga audiences with all these telenovelas eh. Di ba? Alam mo pa, isang maganda pa, no, nitong nangyari itong pandemya, namulat ang mata nila sa iba't ibang uri ng kwento. Okay? Nanood sila ng K-drama. Kaya ngayon, yung mga telenovelang Pilipinong pipichi-pichi, hindi na pinapanood. Di ba? Dahil kasi nagmumukha sila nagmumukhang ebak. Okay, yung mga Filipino na pichi-pichi. Kung i-compare mo sa napanood nila nung panahon ng pandemya na hindi sila makalabas ng bahay. Tumaas ng in a way ang antas. Ang gusto ng FDCP is to increase the education at saka alam nyo, the present generation, suko na kami. We're gonna help the young generation to be braver and to be more creative and be more Filipino. To be proud of being Filipino. As long as we keep imitating Hollywood models and Korean models and any other model, hindi tayo uunlad. Hindi tayo uunlad. Hindi ba? Sa tagisan ng ganda, yung malasado hindi mananalo, yung puro ang may advantage. Okay? So, yun ang aming pinaglalaban sa FDCP ngayon. Education. Ang isa pa rin ginawa namin sa FDCP, binawas-bawasan namin yung biyahe. Okay. Sabi namin, punta tayo ng film festival, wala man tayo maipalabas. Ano ginagawa natin doon? Di ba? Di ba? Ang lumabas yan, namasyal lang tayo at nag-party. Di ba? Hindi eh. Ang importante pagpunta ka doon, meron kang armas na ipakita na ito ang Pilipino, ito ang gawa ng Pilipino. Eh kung wala, di ba? Eh ba't ka pa pumunta? Di ba? Tulungan mo na lang yamang yung andito na may magawa para meron kang dahilan para umalis. Di ba? Okay.
Educating the current generation, parang hindi na-expose no, yung current generation natin sa classics ng Philippine cinema. What can you say about that?
Ang FDCP has a campaign for that. Meron kami nag-start kami, ang tawag namin is Academic Film Society. Ang eskwela na nag-offer ng courses in communication or in film, pwedeng sumali doon. At you have all these movies shown in Cinematheque kasi the FDCP has acquired a great library of old Filipino movies. Okay, na ipinapalabas namin sa Cinematheque. At kapag kunyari member ka ng Asian Film, yung Academic Film Society na yan, kung gusto mong ipalabas sa eskwela mo, pwedeng ipahiram ng FDCP yung pelikula para ipalabas. Ang dami naming mga classic Filipino films, mga Manuel Conde, mga Lino Broca, Ora Pronobis, okay, Ismael Bernal's movies, nagre-restore din kami, nagre-digitize kami ng mga old Filipino movies because we want it to be accessible to the public. At ang sama-sama ng loob ko na yung mga film majors natin have never watched a Lino Broca movie. Tapos sasabihin nila, okay, sabi ko, alam mo si Christopher Nolan pero hindi mo kilala si Ismael Bernal? Sabi, I mean, then you are useless. Okay? Unless you know, unless alam mo kung anong pinanggalingan mo and whose shoulders you are stepping on right now, then you can never reach for the stars. Okay? Kailangan alam mo, and we're working on that. We're really working on that. Pero tama ka. Kulang na kulang yung exposure ng mga classic Filipino films. How would we know who we are if we don't know where we came from? I am, as a filmmaker, I'm just so fortunate that I work with Bernal, I work with Broca, and I had the advantage of age. Pero the younger ones, they don't even know them. They haven't heard of Insang, they haven't heard of Pagdating sa Dulo. I mean, that's why yun. And isa pa, no, magpa-plug na rin ako. So September is the Philippine Film Industry Month. Okay, this year, okay, we are paying tribute to the comedians. Okay, we're paying tribute to Dolphy and his entire body of works. Okay, starting from his early works all the way down to Markova. Okay, so lahat yun namin, and then I'm giving a lecture at Cinematheque. I think that's September 27 on Bernal, Broca and Marilo Abayan on the importance of the films of these three. So we are very much deep into it, and I'm glad you raised that kasi importante na malaman ng ating mga film students ngayon who will inherit eventually the places where we stand right now, the entire tradition of Filipino filmmaking. Okay, not only from the time of Broca but from Jerry De Leon, Lamberto Avellana all the way down.
Direk, noong 1960, sinasabi na pangit yung industriya natin or hindi magkagandahan, no? And then there came 1970s na naging socially relevant na ang mga films.
Kapag college educated ka, hindi ko manonood ng Philippine, pang maid, pang muchacha. Naalala ko may isa kong antipatikang tiya na sinasabi na ang nanonood ng Filipino movies, mga muchacha. Okay, pero naiba yon. Alam mo, nag-turning point niyan is Lino Brocas Tinimbang Ka, Ngunit Kulang. Okay? That was the first time na nanood ang mga middle class ng matinong pelikulang Pilipino na ipinagmamalaki nila. And I am proud to say na when Tinimbang Ka, Ngunit Kulang came out, that's the time I decided to write movies and to be involved in movie making. Kasi pumunta si Lino Broca doon sa school ko at nagbigay ng talk at saka features editor ako, in-interview ko siya. And right after that interview, I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do. But how many people are as fortunate as me to work with Bernal, with Broca, with Peque Galiaga, with Marilo Abaya, with Mario de los Reyes, who are all gone right now? Di ba? And I really wish that the people who are working now with Eric Mati, with Joel Lamangan, with with Love Diaz, whatever, or I hope that they too will be infected by the same kind of enthusiastic virus, okay, to become better filmmakers. sa lahat ng ginagawa ko ngayon, I'm happy as being a teacher because nakikita ko may mga estudyante who will be so much better filmmakers than me. Okay? It's just a matter that they have to be proud of being Filipino. Okay? That, they should not impersonate foreign Hollywood or, foreign filmmakers. They have to be themselves. And that's what we greatly encourage. And hopefully, with the FDCP, ganyan din ang ma-inculcate natin sa mga filmmakers natin.
Let's move to another subject. Maraming pelikulang Pilipino ang itinuturing na classic ay hindi na mahanap o yung tinatawag na lost films. Kailangan ba natin ng reforma sa pagpreserba at archiving ng mga classic Filipino movies? Ano-ano po yung mga reformang ito?
Alam mo, ang saklap-saklap. Next year, hindi ka maniwala nito, next year is the Eddie Romero Centennial. Hinahanap namin ng isang pelikula niya na it bleeds my heart to think na wala ng kopya ang Agila. Ito pa, Regal lang ha, Regal. 30%, if not 40% of the films I made in Regal are gone. Dahil hindi na-preserve ang mga negatibo. Kasi wala tayong sense of archiving and history and it is expensive, hindi ba, to preserve films. Yung isang rolyo ng pelikula ko nung binuksan, pulbos na. Di ba? Ang sakit, ang sakit. Are we trying to revive? Yes. Yes. Si FPJ, pinre-preserve yung kanyang film. Ang daming FPJ films na na-preserve. Yung Agila, wala. Okay. Isa pa yung isa pang kay Eddie Romero, yung Kamakalawa, wala na rin. Di ba nakakainis? Di ba nakakainis na wala lahat yon, di ba? Isa pang ano niyan, ano pa ba yung mga hinahanap namin? Ang dami ng mga hinahanap namin na wala. Yung aking pelikulang May Minamahal, would you believe, hindi nila nahanap yung buong pelikula dito, nahanap yung magandang kopya ng negatibo sa Japan. Di ba? Nasa Fukuoka pala yung magandang. Hindi ba, yung
parang yung mga films ni Direk Lino Broca, no? Foreigners pa ang nagre-restore.
Di ba? Yung mga Brocang iba, nasaan nahahanap? Sa France. Yung mga magagandang kopya ng Bona. Hindi ba na-restore ngayon? Anyway, hopefully now with this generation, we can be more careful and we can be more vigilant in preserving the tradition of film. Namin sa Regal, okay, gusto namin i-restore lahat yung mga nasa Regal na accessible pa na Bernal. Relasyon, Broken Marriage, City After Dark, okay, gusto namin i-restore lahat yan. To restore it, mahina na kasi ang 2.5 million. Tapos yung 2.5 million na yan, parang wala ka ng investment yan kasi non-recoupable na yun eh. Hindi ba? Hindi mo na pagkakakitaan yun eh. Okay, so yun ang pinakamasaklap na ano.
Pagdating naman po sa censorship, strict pa rin ba ang censorship sa ating Filipino films?
Well, unang-una naman, kasi since most of entertainment has moved to streaming, there is no way that you can censor streaming. Okay, kahit gawin mo. I don't think, Diyos ko, sa dami na nasa-stream. Siguro isang barangay kukunin mo member ng FTRCB para ma-monitor mo lahat sa streaming. And really, oras na sinensor mo on streaming platform, they'll say, ganun ba? Okay, bye. Okay? They'll shut down. They'll lock you out. Okay? Is it still important? I think at this point in time, it's discretionary na yan eh. Okay, kailangan the industry must have self-censorship eh. Hindi ba? The industry must have self-censorship. Dapat we are mature enough to know. But you can't wag your tail, hindi ba? And then, at every sensitive issue. I just really find it funny that we make a big issue about Vice Ganda and Ayon eating cake, or Senator Soto kissing his wife, hindi ba? Or Kim Cho mistakenly calling vibrator vibrator, hindi ba? What? Alam niyo yan, yung may kumantahan, sabi, ang ganda ng vibrator mo, which he meant vibrato. See what an additional consonant can do. Napapatawag siya sa FTRCB. I find it so funny. Hindi ba? I really found it so funny, di ba? But I guess they have to do their job. The moment they shut down ABS-CBN, the MTRCB has lost its purpose. Di ba? Wala na nang gumagawa ng pelikula, hindi ba? Alam mo, sa sensor mo, Barbie, hindi ba? Tapos, hindi mo naman masasensor ang Viva Max, may nagko-complain. Viva Max is by subscription, okay? So, if the very fact it's by subscription, it's not public. Okay? It's a private purchase. Hindi ba? So, censorship, we have to be a little bit more mature for it, but since it's there, then it's there. Okay, censorship still works with the remaining commercial TV networks that we have right now, and boy, are they watching them all over.
Bilang spokesperson ng FDCP, ano po ang mapapangako natin sa new breed of filmmakers?
I'm very optimistic. Very critical itong times na pinagdadaanan natin. We're going through a transition period. Kasi ang entertainment is changing, the pandemic has changed the way we lived. We're living in interesting times, but I think we're going to emerge as survivors. We're Filipinos, okay? And Filipinos are survivors. We're better than cockroaches. We'll be the survivor of a nuclear war, okay? And I feel that, the same thing goes through with movies. And I'm just praying to God that the next generation of filmmakers will be so much better than this generation. Because I never want to underestimate, nor do I want to pass any final judgment which is pessimistic about the future of Philippines and its culture. We're endlessly evolving. We are a battered culture throughout history. But we can find strength in all the battering that we have received through centuries. And hopefully, we can come out with great Filipino filmmakers who we can be proud of and who can stand side by side with their Korean counterparts. I think we're on their way there. Just give it time and hopefully with government and public support. But what the FDCP can promise is we will support you. We will support you in terms of training and education. We will support you in terms of, like right now, we have decided that, we are going to send 10 people to the Busan to Busan on scholarship, throughout the duration of the film fest. There is also in Berlin. Okay, so ang dami-daming sinusuportahan, and we're even doing internal training. Okay, not only for the professionals that we have right now, but even with students. We're going to have a cinematography workshop in Mowal Fund, which is open to students. Okay, we're going to have acting workshops for students. And alam mo, gusto namin i-inculcate dito, I don't know how you will react to it, is acting is an art. You act to be an artist, not to be a celebrity. Hindi ba? If you want to be an actor, then you have to be good in acting and not because you want to endorse feminine hygiene products. Okay? In other words, you have to respect the art. And the FDCP is very strong into that. When I joined, I told Tirso that I'm a warrior for education. So if you bring me in, I'll be really batting for education, which I think is what is greatly needed for the next generation of filmmakers. Okay, tatlong points. Number one, the government had short-term and long-term plans. Okay, Hallyu, or this boom of Korean culture, did not happen overnight. It took decades. And that is because the Korean government recognized the power of the soft economy. They realized that popular culture can be exportable, okay, and that it can be an economic force. Remember, noong 1980s, diba, arirang channel lang napapanood natin dito from Korea. Panahon ng mga 80s, gumagawa na tayo ng mga palibasa lalaki. In other words, we were advanced. Pero may foresight ang Korean government. Sabi nila, let's use this. Okay, let's use this as a force, not only to sell Korea, but to make it as a viable way of exporting, Korean culture. So they had a short-term plan and a long-term plan. The government, yan ang number one. Number two, the connivance of both the public and the private sector. Okay, the government had plans, but the private sector integrated with the government to create form for these plans. Okay? Merong agreement ang producers and the government. And therefore, there was a solid program which was created. Na, my God, hindi ba, how could you, and the end product is Bong Joon-ho winning the Oscars, my God. The end product is Blackpink and BTS conquering, okay, world pop culture. K-drama, which is conquering the world. I mean, you have Park Seo-joon, okay, all over the world, hindi ba? So, wow. And then, the third most important, just like Indonesia, Koreans love Korea. The countrymen have a sense of commitment to their country. Iba ng ibang culture ng Korea. I mean, I'm not saying that's because from what I heard, the kind of pressure you have in Korea in order to live in Korea, it's really a dog-eat-dog world there. But they love being Koreans. Ang masaklap kasi is we don't like being Filipinos. Alam mo, musmus matayo sa national ID. Hanggang sa ngayon, may problema pa tayo. Naubos na, nalagas na ang buhok ko. May problema pa rin tayo sa national identity na. Hindi natin mahal ang bayan natin. Hindi ba? Oras na sinabi mong local yung, hindi ba? Diba? Yung, gaganong ka kasi, we always give it the second, but then, a good example is, it bleeds my heart when I ask my students, how many of you plan to go abroad, okay, when the moment you graduate? And you find out more than 50% are planning to leave the country. And they're the best of minds. So, ano yun? Maiiwan dito, sapal?
There we have it. Ngayong September, ang Philippine Film Industry Month. Bilang mga Pilipino, sana bigyan natin ng tsansa ang mga likha ng kapwa natin Pilipino. Sabi nga ni Direk Joey, it is good to continuously have new breed of filmmakers na magpapatuloy ng Philippine film industry habang may mga nag-aaral at patuloy na gumagawa ng pelikula, mayroong pag-asa. Maraming salamat po, Direk, sa pagtanggap sa aming paanyaya. Dito po nagtatapos ang aming talakayan sa mga may init na isyong nakakaapekto sa pagbibigay ng serbisyong pampubliko ng mga institusyon at ahensya ng gobyerno. Sa pagbabago para sa pag-unlad, isulong natin ang reforma sa gobyerno. Maraming salamat po.